Check-in connection. Hello, everyone. We're live on YouTube and we are live on Instagram. And I'm Jessica Alstrom bringing you your Jedi Mind Hack of the day. Happy Halloween, guys. And today is going to be fun because I'm going to show you a really cool reality creation trick that myself and so many people I have worked with have gotten caught in. So this is not only just a Jedi mind hack, but it's going to be a life hack, and it's going to be a hack for you to truly see where you are creating your own blocks and your stuck points. And because Halloween is like my favorite time, I get an excuse to dress up and play out all my funny characters. Hello, guys. Oh, hi. Thank you so much. Let's see. Okay. Hey, guys, on YouTube, I can kind of see some of the comments, so I'm getting better at this. Yes, happy Halloween. What are you guys all dressed up today? Put it in the comments. Tell me what you guys are dressed up. Are you going to work dressed up or just go pick up your kids at school like I like to do? What do you got going here? Because I work from home, so I'm always usually in my own party. But today we're going to talk about the difference between denial and delusion in reality creation. So we all know by now, unless you live under a rock, that you have at least heard, may not buy into or believe yet, that you create your own reality, which you do 100% of the time. But you're always going to create your reality from a spirited inspiration. Inspiration means inspirited. And so you're creating your reality from either the unholy spirit or you are creating your reality from a Holy Spirit. And what does that mean? Holy is not a religious word. Holy means whole. And so when you're working with the Holy Spirit, you are working with the perfect the perfect combination of yin and yang. You're working with that masculine feminine energy, and therefore you will create a child, right? From the holistic spirit of prosperity and aliveness and love and connection. You are actually working with life force energy when you create with the Holy Spirit. When you are creating with the unholy spirit, well, then you're just either creating with the emotion or the mind. And when the unholy spirit is designed to shut down your heart and get you to be a thinker, an overthinker, an over-examiner, an over-contemplator, an over-assumption person that takes you down this spiral of scenario thinking that then triggers the emotion to go into a lower vibration. So, and again, I was truly guilty of this for so long because, when you have the manifestation formula, it can be really tricky to know exactly where you are vibrating. It's always like, raise your vibration, and you can think, oh, I'm thinking from delusion, which was what I was so good at as a child. I could get so delusional, live in my own world, live in my fairyland and happily ever after, and then manifest literally the opposite. And why is that? We've talked in other reels about being double-minded, right? Where it's like, your mental side is like, I have to do this. And then your emotions are like, but I don't want to do that. And then what happens is that positive, negative charge kind of like neutralizes everything out and you feel stuck and trapped. And, you're not leading and living from your highest joy. You're living from your have-tos. And so how do you build a world, create your own world where you don't have to do anything you don't want to do? Because remember, anything that steals your joy here is going to tank your vibration. And then you're going to have to build that joy ladder up again by getting delusional, right? Focusing on things that you choose to focus on. So what do we want to unpack today in a limited time? I don't have a ton of time, and I'm sure you guys are sick of me yapping all the time, but we'll get it streamlined here. So delusion and denial sound very similar, but they are completely opposite when you're playing with reality creation. So delusion is about not looking at the matrix whatsoever in designing your ultimate playground, which means that you're not looking at the circumstantial evidence or proof or their version of money, or their version of time, or their version of the people that you have seen and heard, which means you're not going to be thinking from any place you have necessarily seen. Maybe, a house on Zillow or something where you can take bits and pieces, but true reality creation in the delusional arts is to literally make it up from your heart, to make it up like your ultimate playground and what that would look like. Now, we know that you can't actually make anything up because all potentials are actually alive and real. And the more that you focus and bring energy to it, the more it will manifest. In another reel, I talked about the ice, water, steam concept, right? When it's a particle, it's like infinite intelligence and potential. And then you start to kind of pull that energy in through your imagination and you create this flowing water. And then if you focus on it and give it enough power and love and energy, then it forms. And this is why we have the time-space buffer here, because ultimately we're all learning how to do this. And the instant manifestation of some of your darker thoughts, well, you would have been dead a long time ago. So we're utilizing that time-space buffer so that we can fine-tune and truly discern and decide and choose that which we want. Now, when we really get excited about something, but it doesn't match the matrix's guidelines or the matrix's system, okay, then the mind is going to say, how is that a possibility? So here's the two questions that you're going to say to yourself every time you're building something brand new. How and when? How is that going to happen? When is that going to happen? And then this will bring you down into a lower vibration, because based on your knowledge of reality and the money in your bank account and the people you know or the things you're capable of, you're not going to see circumstantial evidence of that ever coming true. And usually what we do is we settle, we kind of toss our dreams to the side, and then we try to somehow get some version of that. Even if it's just like a little bit of your real positive self in your job, or kind of things that you like in your home, but you just give it away because, let's just face it, it's hard to stay focused in delusion. Now, that's actually not what makes most people fail. I would say most people who are connected to their inner child are pretty good at delusion. Okay. Now, what we don't realize a lot of times as humans is that we live in a state of denial and delusion. And what this does is it cancels out your ability to manifest. And I'll explain. So you're going through a situation, it's like a pattern, right? It's like it happens over and over again, and you're doing your inner work, and you're working to get in a high vibe. You're listening to your guided meditations, but this particular program you don't necessarily like. You're in avoidance of it. You're in denial of it, because what you're trying to do here is you're trying to avoid the problem by creating the solution in delusion. And that doesn't work, because delusion is who I am, who I actually am in heaven, who I am in all potentials. But if I'm trying to manifest what I desire, more money, a better house, healthier relationships, a healed body, from a place of denial, which means that I don't want to look at the problem. I don't want to look at the bank account. I don't want to talk to that person. I don't want to work at that job. I don't. So what that does is it demagnetizes you from creating any of this, because the universe looks at you as a holistic being, and therefore all of your thoughts and feelings are going to be put into the manifestation. And so that's why if you look at like an algorithm, there's going to be a lot of things that you resonate with, and then there's going to be some things that you don't resonate with, that you don't even think that you think about, and yet it's in the back of your mind. So a denial perspective is going to be like, let's just say your parents were horrible with money, and they modeled that for you, and that went into your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind decided to make a personality or self-concept out of you two cannot have money because this is what you downloaded into your hard drive by the age of 7. And you never really went and changed the blueprint or changed the belief. But what you did was you awakened and you went and learned all the manifestational techniques, and then you began to apply them to your circumstantial evidence that was being proved by this particular belief system happening in this subconscious mind. Guys, below what you can see. So it's not going to be obvious, but you're going to be in resistance of it, and you're going to be in denial of it, because you're not going to feel like your parents with money. You're going to feel like a free, excited, prosperous being, because you've been spending so much time in your delusion that this particular belief system, it actually is motivating you to go into delusion, but then nothing happens. And so here's the trick and the solution, because I know that you have said this. You're in a funk. You are lost. You feel disconnected. You feel like, what am I doing wrong? And then someone asks you how you are, and you're like, I'm fine, right? When you are clearly not fine. Unless you are living your heaven on earth, none of you should be saying you're fine. But what we could say is, we could say, you know what? I'm looking at all of the things that I have bought into when I was being programmed, because ultimately everything that's sitting in your subconscious mind that doesn't align with who you truly are as a creative being was programmed, which means it's not yours. Those beliefs about money are not yours. Those beliefs about I can't instantaneously heal my body, not yours. The thoughts of, someone could actually hurt you outside of you, not yours. The fact that you cannot have whatever you want without earning it, not yours. The fact that you could ever be unworthy, not yours. But being in a simulation and being part of the matrix, you're going to be programmed from every direction your entire life. And so when we get on a kind of a new age journey, we go all the way towards the light and manifestation. Very few of us go, hold on a second, before I go and create my Disneyland, my playground in the 0 point energy, in the clean slate, in the fresh white canvas. Hold on, let me go deprogram. Very few of us do this, because what we believe is that by doing the manifestation work, that is going to somehow change the program, and it doesn't work. But here's how you do it. I'm going to give you the Jedi hack, okay? So you never have to say you're fine again when you're not, right? Because, right, this is the matrix, we're hacking it, and the solutions are always going to be very simple. Complicated solutions, it's another trap. So what you want to do is you want to turn towards what you're in denial of, right? You're really not happy in that relationship. You want to turn it to the denial of, I really don't like the job. I turn to denial. I'm really not okay with the amount of money I'm earning. You go towards your truth, because this up here is the truth of who you are as God. And if you're avoiding the lie that you somehow downloaded, it's going to neutralize itself out, or you're going to get bittersweet manifestations, which means that you're going to manifest that in there, and that's it. I've done that so many times. You manifest some beautiful person, but they're laced with all of, the narcissistic traits that one of your parents had. Or you manifest the dream home, and it has like infestation of like some sort of bug, right? It happens. If you are really like a consistent, disciplined, focused manifester, like if you are you'll manifest the bittersweet, you'll manifest both. But most of the time what you'll do is, depending on the size of your delusion, if it matches the size of your denial, nothing happens. Or, just get Mr. Smith a lot. So here's what we do. We turn towards it, because what we avoid, right, gets bigger. What we're afraid of gets bigger. What we resist persists. What we try to push away and avoid actually grows in power. So we want to bring all of the things we're avoiding, bring all of the things that we're in denial about. And if you're not sure what you're in denial about, but you're on the edge, just go tell someone else out loud the current circumstance that you're like really good at, like, oh, that's not a big deal, I can fix that easily. No, just go tell someone, I'm on the verge of bankruptcy. And then you're like, whoa, that is real. And that's why having a mentor is such a great thing, because a lot of the times the things that you guys are saying, I'm fine, when you say it out loud, you're like, I'm not okay when you say it out loud, because it becomes real. So it's good either to write it down or say it out loud so you can see, am I really actually uncomfortable with this situation? Because the way that it works in reality creation, bringing energy into form, is that everything has to be honest and open flow because we're working with life force energy. And that is the only way to get the true manifestation. You can work with the underworld, which I will be explaining tonight in the webinar, how you're really most of the time working with the underworld to manifest because you're manifesting from lack. When you manifest from lack, you're calling in the spirits of lack to help you manifest. Okay. And we'll explain all that tonight in the webinar. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn towards the avoidance, the denial, okay, the pain that you are not looking at, because again, there's so many things that have hurt us in relationships. We've got a lot of trauma. If you turn towards it, okay, and you go, okay, well, I'm when I'm in the delusional state, I really do believe that I create my reality. So am I saying I didn't create this? So you have to take ownership. One of the love frequencies is radical acceptance. So you turn towards it and you go, okay, right? Money issue, right? Time issue, space issue, health issue, right? You go, I see you, okay? I accept you. I accept that I was programmed to create this. I was programmed to sabotage myself. I was programmed to feel unworthy. I was programmed, right, to not have enough because that's what I was modeled as a child. I was programmed to choose the wrong person because that's what was modeled to me. But now I am aware and I am a sovereign being and I'm a child of God. And so as I turn towards this with full acceptance, I can now declare that this is no longer who I am. And who I am is actually who I am in the delusional state that is already complete, already valuable, already worthy, already abundant, already healthy. Because when I'm building in that space, I'm not in lack. And so if you understand that imagination is either working, it's like a phone line to the heavens or it's a phone line to hell. And imagination is how worlds are created. And you will also learn tonight in this webinar just how instantaneous manifestation happens with every thought you think and every time you go Imagineering. So, right, someone's a little bit late and they say, oh, I'll be 5 minutes, and it's 20 minutes. And now they're dead in a ditch somewhere because you went into the dark imagination or the unholy spirit world to imagine, use your magic to create. Or do you say, no, I'm going to start from a sovereign place of this is who I am. I'm going to go to the wish fulfilled, which means I'm going to go all the way to the end and I'm going to be in that happily ever after. But it isn't because of this. This is an old program. This is who I was programmed to be, not who I am. I do not want to bring this in here. Now, a lot of you do not think that you're bringing the denial and the avoidance and the rejection and the abandonment and the trauma into your manifestation work, but you are a holistic being. And so, and as an alchemist means all of me, you're going to imprint all of you in any manifestation that you create because you are the Jedi Master. And the most of your energy is going to be probably going towards problems. Problems are dense, they're heavy, and they create more problems. If we go into the wish fulfilled, which is who I really am, but I'm also taking full radical responsibility. It's not like I'm accepting it and then I'm like going into deep forgiveness and I'm doing all this repentance work. Not necessary, because all you want to do is get to 0 point energy in creating, which means I have fully accepted that I did at one point believe this. My actions, behavior got me into this uncomfortable situation. And now I take full responsibility. And my definition of responsibility is the ability to respond, to look at it, to see it, to accept it, right? To also know that the unholy spirits have been feeding that story and making you create it over and over again with inspiration to do it again and again, because that's who you summoned when you created it. But when you want to put that world down, it's yours. You own it until you declare and accept, yep, that was mine, but this isn't who I am anymore. And so I'm going to give love to all of these patterns, because love is one of the things that heals everything. But if you are, I hate this about my life, or I don't like this about my situation, or I don't like what that person is doing, you include it, because fear multiplies when you look at something in fear. So if you're worried about something that you've manifested several times and then you worry about it, you're actually making it bigger, because you are the substance of creation. Your life force energy grows whatever you give attention to, good or bad. And when you are in resistance of it and you're completely avoiding it and you don't think you're even thinking about it at all, right? But it manifests bigger, it's because a lot of you was using your life force energy to hold it down so you wouldn't have to look at it or see it. And now it's like the monster under your bed that's like, I'm just going to wait till you go to sleep. Okay. And then it's going to manifest, and it's going to create what we call a blind spot, and or a blind side. You're going to feel blindsided that it happened again after all of your manifestation training. So that is one of the things, is it's okay to get completely delusional and create new. That's what you came for. That's the big show. But you did not come to create with all of the old programs still running and then be pushing them away so you could hurry up and manifest this so this will fix that. Doesn't work. Trust me, I've tried. I've probably perfected the fact that that does not work numerous times. But when you get into your loving heart or your inner child, your child's like, okay, but that's not really who I am. That's just who I was conditioned to be. That's who my mom was. That was who my dad was. That's a generational story. But who I am now is I fully accept everything that I have witnessed, believed, shown up as, taken action in. And don't let it bring up guilt and shame, guys, because that's a trap too. That's this underworld spirit. Like, you should feel guilty that this is still happening. You should feel ashamed that you got yourself in this situation again. Nope, I'm a child of God, right? And all is forgiven. Because to me, like, redemption, right? It's like the idea of just like really shifting your mind and changing your mindset. But you cannot be double-minded and create the reality of your dreams. And then when you don't, then you're going to believe what the Matrix says is you can't do that, because they're waiting. The Matrix is waiting for you to get really delusional, but then get your hopes up, and then, basically have the universe not meet your expectations. And you believe that it's either, you're unworthy, or that, that this is actually who you are. And that is like such a trap. So we want to go towards it. Go towards anything that is scaring you, that is angering you, that is, that you're questioning. And instead of running away to try to create the solution, go towards it with that love in your heart. Call in angels and spirits and say, sit with me while I unpack this, not to judge myself, not to determine who I am, but just actually accept that I was programmed when I created this mess. And now, because I am creator, I am going to fully radically put love into this, and I'm going to let this go. I'm going to surrender this now, and I'm going to give that to creator, whatever. Because surrender does not mean give up. It means turn over. You're turning it over. You're like, I've taken it as far as I can. I was fully responsible. I accepted it. So now it's not in denial. All right. And once it's out of denial, it goes into a neutral state. You go back to 0 point energy. And now the delusional states that you live in and meditate on and think on, that's going to be pulling from a pure space that is the real you. Because most of us do not become the real us until we have deprogrammed. And deprogramming is going to be set up for all kinds of distractions. So in my classroom, I teach the 7 Ds, and the 7 Ds are going to be constantly, like we've learned so far on the reels, like what the Mr. Smith effect is. But the 7 Ds are designed to get you away from your delusional imagination and get you back into system control. So I'm going to read them off you. The first one is divergence. So when you are working and accepting and you're working in delusion and things are starting to move and you're creating form with your heart and everything's starting to happen, divergence is something will be introduced that's going to try to take you a different way. So divergence is going to be like, you're going to all of a sudden get an opportunity to go this way, or like you're manifesting your dream partner, right? And then your old loser ex shows up out of the blue and tries to divert you back into that relationship. But you're like, wait, is that, I'm working on my soulmate, and then all of a sudden he showed up? It's a diversion. It's a diversion. So with the diversion, right, you're going to be like, you're either going to go or you're going to go, no, thank you. That would be settling. That would be settling. I know that I can create this. So that's going to be a major one that's going to come at you, right? Right when you're starting to create something new, something that's going to divert you back to the past, some opportunity that looks good is going to come through. And again, if you're not in denial, you'll have the awareness and the confidence to say, no, thank you, even if it seems like a pretty good opportunity. Because remember, right before you get to the gates of heaven, you're going to meet the devil in disguise that's going to say, I'm going to give you everything you want, but it would be settling. So don't take the settle trap of divergence. The next one is delay. All of a sudden, you're doing the work, and now it's something is delaying you. The check that was in the mail is like delayed, or the ticket you bought like somehow gets delayed. So delay is another matrix trap. The next one, denial, right? When the universe or the matrix literally denies you. Let's say you're like feeling really good, you've been working in delusion, blah, 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 and you start to take action from inspired action, and somehow you get denied. That is a matrix trick to get you to go back into your settled patterns. The next one, disappointment. This is a favorite one. I would say disappointment was like my biggest trap. Like I would get hope, expectation would turn into disappointment, and it would reset over and over again for, 40 some years. The next one is you will be disrespected. You will start to feel very confident. You'll start to feel like a child of God. You'll start to feel good about yourself, your confidence, and then someone will disrespect you. And that's going to design to throw you off of your delusion path. The next one is discourage. Someone will come in and be like, really? Do you honestly think you can create that? And it will be someone you love and care about, and it will test your faith, like that it's possible. And this is why it's very important in manifestation creation. Zip it until it starts to become form. Do not discuss what's in your delusional imagination until those little germination of the seeds begin to pop through. Okay, that will be another reel or live. And then the last one, distracted. Okay, because you are very influential and adaptable in nature, the whole entire matrix is set up to keep you away from your greatest creative delusions with anything and everything. A car wreck, an election, a Hollywood scandal, right? A viral TikTok video that you just have to watch, right? Or any sort of social media, any sort of distraction, right? If you're on a health journey, could be some sort of food or opportunity that might make you get distracted. You can figure it out. But if you actually take the time to write these down, I have my students in the classrooms, like, I'll be like, okay, what D was that? And they'll be like, oh, that was denial. I'm like, that's a setup. So don't take this personally, because manifesting your reality with positive and negative energy would be very simple if the matrix was not involved. We would not look at the underworld spirits as dark and ominous if the matrix wasn't involved, because the matrix is a system that is designed to steal your life force energy away from you so that it can fuel the empire. And then you keep seeking, searching, going into delusion, but you forgot about denial and then it doesn't happen. So then you stop believing that you are a creator. And that is the biggest dupe and trap. So I hope this Halloween you are feeling good about your delusions, but look at your denial and your avoidances through the eyes of compassion, love, and imagine that it's just pulling the plug on the program. You cannot change what you're not aware of. You cannot change what you do not take ownership of. And taking ownership of an old program is not resetting it. It is actually now I, with ownership, can hit the off switch. But if you're like, that's not my problem or that's not me, then by default of the program, you got to read the disclaimer when you're playing in the simulation. You got to know how this game works. And so I really hope that you, those of you who are interested in learning more about the underworld and the dark agenda and how it operates and how it is actually, you are probably channeling that realm a lot more than you are channeling the heavens to operate, because most of us are living from a lack place, and therefore when you have a desire or a need or a creative inspiration, if it's coming from lack, you're never ever ever calling from the heavens to assist your manifestation. You're always calling from the underworld, which means you're never going to get what you truly want. And then the system could say, see, you need us. You need to come back to reality, and we'll let you have a job so we can give you some money, and then we're going to take that money back. Which we're really looking for is your life force energy. So know the game, you guys. You cannot hack this game. You cannot beat this game. You cannot get to the next level if you do not know all of the rules. So the rules of the underworld, the rules of the heavens, the rules of the matrix, the rules of the body, the rules of body, mind, and soul collaboration. Know the game to beat the game. Okay, so hopefully you guys have an amazing day and weekend coming up, and I would love to see what your Halloween costumes are. So either send me a picture of my DMs or just send me message me here and let me know what you guys are going to be, or your kids, or whatever is your highest joy. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow. We're ending. Here we go.